Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Church School at Church by the Sea from Miss Valerie and Miss Joanne.
Good morning.
We hope everyone had a busy, happy week filled with kind words and smiles as we help God's love to grow. Sometimes I think about my life being like a restaurant buffet.
Oh, yeah.
Such a large variety of food to choose from. Oh, and it all looks very tempting to my eyes. Beautiful colors and arrangements. And so you go along and you fill your plate with so many tempting samples. However, as you start tasting all the goodies you have chosen, you will probably have some items that you love. Some so, and others which are very disappointing. No seconds on those. To your eyes, everything spread out looks so yummy. But your sense of taste was a little more choosy about the flavors that you like. Our lives are also made up of choices. And we now know that some will be good, some so-so, and some not good and should not be repeated. We're learning to make better choices all our lives. Our parents, our teachers, our friends, and experts are all helping us to make good choices for ourselves and other people and for our planet. We have to think carefully because some choices are very difficult, as we have to consider how that choice will affect other people and other situations. Sometimes we may disagree with a choice, and that's okay, especially if you can explain why you think somebody has made the wrong choice. It may be as simple as you don't think you should do something because if you look at the sky, the clouds tell you it's going to rain. So you might say, I don't think we should go to the beach today because it's very windy and I think it's going to rain. So, you don't agree with that choice and you can explain the reason why you don't agree. The lesson today is how the disciples had to choose a good leader to replace Jesus. We will also have to choose good leaders for our sports teams, for our school, for our church. And we may be chosen as leaders in the future also. That's a big responsibility to be a leader. But let's listen to the story and see what it tells us to help us make good choices in the future. And perhaps, Miss Joanne, you would start us this morning story with a prayer.
Surely. Fold your hands, bow your head, and open your heart. Thank you for Jesus, who helps us know about you, who helps us to share your love with others so that everyone is included in your circle of love. Amen.
Thank you. This is the story of how the disciples choose a leader. Jesus' friends were having a meeting. All day they'd been very busy teaching and telling people about God's love. All day they had been helping people, just like their friend Jesus had done. But now it was time to stop for a moment. And now it was time to meet in their special place for prayer.
Come in, it's time, called out Peter.
Are we meeting upstairs in the same room as before? Questioned Matthew.
Yes, said Mary, come and tell everyone that it's time to meet. And so, one by one, people started climbing the stairs.
Soon the room was full of Jesus's friends. And many of these friends were feeling sad that their friend Jesus wouldn't be teaching them any longer. Many friends were happy when they remembered that Jesus was still with them in a very special way. But sometimes these friends just wanted to stay where they were and not do anything. And sometimes these friends were so happy, they just wanted to rush out and tell everyone the good news of Jesus. It was such a mixed up time. What should they do?
What should they do? We need help, called out Peter. We need someone who will work with us and help us tell everyone about God's love.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the people gathered together to choose another leader. They already had 11. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They already had 11 leaders. Who should they pick now? They thought and thought. They prayed to God to help them. Then they talked to each other and they prayed to God again. And finally, Matthias was chosen. Matthias had been a friend of Jesus for a long, long time. Matthias would be a good leader. Now they had how many? 12 leaders.
But that's not where the story ends. This story is just the beginning. As more and more people heard the story and the good news about Jesus, the church grew and grew and grew. More leaders were needed to build the church and to teach the people. Soon there were teachers and leaders like Lydia and Priscilla and Aquila and Timothy. And soon the church was full of loving people. Jesus' wonderful work was going to carry on. Miss Joanne, sorry, I'm sure that you have a lot of experience of making choices during your life. Do you think you could give us a little advice on some good ideas you might have?
I wish it were true. Certainly anyone that's lived this long should have some, but oh my. I have some suggestions. They might be right choices, but I don't think there's any special clue. It's all as these people did. These friends thought and prayed and thought and prayed and talked and learned. But however, how grateful we are that we can have choices. We're not told everything we have to do. We have choices. We thank God for this freedom, and we say a little prayer. Listening and learning and loving together. That's the right way, Miss Val. Our lives seem to become the many choices we make. Absolutely. Even though you think it doesn't, every choice you make will have something to do with your life. So you want to go carefully, lovingly, listening, learning all the way. In our story today about Jesus's friends choosing a new leader, we learn that they experienced much the same challenges that we experience nowadays. For instance, here at the Church by the Sea, we have the Reverends Rob and Barb Singer, who've had many, many choices to make. They're extremely stressful. And though you think that you can choose it and it'll work out right, sometimes it doesn't happen that way. So you realize that this church is coming together and everybody working, families, friends, community, and church members are working on Church by the Sea and have been for quite a long time. And you boys and girls have been wonderful helpers in going wherever we say we're having church school, you come along. And that makes our hearts happy to see that you're following along with us and helping, working together with the families. So if you're walking around the neighborhood, you'll see Church by the Sea, big things going. You see big cranes and big things happening in our neighborhood. Tall and strong, Church by the Sea, as the song goes. I am the church, you are the church. We are the church together. So our craft today, I thought, it's your job, boys and girls. Someday you'll be designing the church. And it's your choice. You're making choices, and each choice has to have consideration for other people. So today, all you need is paper, pencil, perhaps a pen, big thing, eraser. You want an eraser. You might enjoy having a ruler
Oh, yes, that's always good.
and a marker here and there. So what fun. I thought if I were making one, and this church is for you, you're making it for the boys and girls. So why not make it the shape of a cross? I don't think you can see it.
That's a good idea.
So the whole building is the shape of a cross, and you enter down at the bottom, and you have classrooms, big auditorium rooms, and you have playground, you have discovery areas, you have God's garden, another God's garden. And
Like that.
big decision, what would you put on the top? Some places have rules about what you can put on the top. So you have to have different choices. You might have a steeple or you might have a cross. But it'd be nice. If you really wanted to do, like a lot of architects here in South Florida are quite exotic. So you could make a round church. There are churches.
Love it, yes.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I'm sure that some used to go to theater in the round, and you go in, it was a completely round. And there you do the same thing. You're providing classrooms, but what do you have to remember? You have to remember stairs. You can't have a room without a door. So the best idea is when you start, you make a plan. What do you think you would want in this building? So you have to be thoughtful of other people. What do you not want? Would you want stained glass windows? That would be fun.
That would be nice to do a little design for the window.
And people make design. And then there might be somebody say, I don't want stained glass windows. And that's when you do, as Valerie said, you have to talk about it. Everybody's not going to agree with what you want to do. So when you present it, you want reasons why you're presenting it this way. I know you'll all be great architects. I can't wait for you to send us to the Church by the Sea a little sketch. Take a picture of what you drew and see if you did circle
I
in.
think it would be fun to do the garden as well and decide, the flowers that you would like to have and so on. And then, again, this would be
You might
interesting.
want play areas. You might
know exactly what you want there.
Yeah.
And then
And
imagine
musicals,
everybody agreeing, yeah.
musical rooms. So imagine what courage a leader has to have. So my angels were, first of all, you want to, where are you? Here you are. You've got to have courage to be a leader. When they say,
Oh yes, I had sort of courage floating around as well. I think it's a good one.
Have people trust you.
Yes.
You don't want a leader that they can't trust. And then with all that big heavy weight on your shoulders, you want to be creative. What fun are you if you're just following a book? You want to be creative. To think of your leaders here with Rob and Barb. You couldn't have more creative people. So you have something interesting going on all the time.
So, sometimes being, having creativity, I have the word inspiration here, which is same as creativity. But, I'm thinking sometimes we can be very creative, but we're not very practical. So, sometimes we have all these wonderful ideas. And then somebody says, yes, but how do people get there? How do you do this? And you think, that's something I didn't think of. So, we all have, I think inspiration is wonderful, but sometimes it has to be thought out a little bit because it's not always practical. And the other one I had this week was intention. I think I have a lot of good intentions, but I don't know that I follow them right the way through.
Well, maybe sometimes it's not interpreted correctly. I think I always say it was my intention that this worked out well, and they may see it otherwise.
Yeah, but I think it was a good reminder for me.
Yes. What are your intentions?
We just have good intentions. Yeah. So lots of good angels today and good ideas. So again, be creative, and we would love to be able to see all your ideas for the
Just
new
take a
church.
picture of it and email it to the church. Who knows?
I
There's
would
probably a young
could
architect out
maybe,
there. Yeah, they could just take
do
a,
that. And we put manage to put some and show them. So if you could do that, why don't you do that? Attention, Miss Gina, maybe, or us, and then
Yeah.
maybe you could get some and show
Come on.
other people your ideas. Yeah, we'd love that. Yes, sounds good. So we hope everybody has another fun week in the merry month of May, and to end our, we'll put our hands together and have a little prayer. Dear God, help me to be a kind and caring friend to all the people I meet every day. May I show your love in all my words and actions. Amen.
Amen. Have a good week, David.